Alex and Felix, and this is week 6 of the NFL. And so, if you haven't seen the Thursday night game, I feel sorry for anyone who is betting against the Giants. As you can see, our last video, we actually unanimously picked the Eagles to win, but the Giants had a different plan, and so they ended up winning and getting that victory over the Eagles. So kudos to the New York Giants for getting this victory. It was long overdue. It's been 9 seasons since the Giants have done any such thing on that level of caliber. They did play a sound game of football. Eagles, on the other hand, looked a little bit flat, but I believe they will bounce back come next week for them. If you didn't see the score or the highlights, the Giants did look good. They look like a professional football team. 34-17 was the final there. And so, Alex, any comments on the game Thursday night?
Well, hit it out. Oh, again, again. A difficult play if you are a four or not for with the rookie quarterback. The foot game, yeah, that game.
His third game,
His
actually.
foot game actually put it
Yeah.
in the big league. So it has to say if you are a fool or not. For the Eagles side, we got to shoot it up. The 2 week back-to-back game, we are ugly. We are we are we are yeah we are to Super Bowl. We don't see I don't see that into the team this year. Hopefully, coming into next week, a good week for the Eagles. Remember, they play next week. They play on Thursday. So the a long break between football game to football game. Also,
Yes.
also the Eagles. Yeah, I want to looking for new game. I think I give new I call it the British going to call about Britain. This, yeah, he did get hurt, but he came back onto the field and played. And the call is not a good idea for that head coach to make up that he was out of the pocket. So that and have it with countless concern worry about the two organizations.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, look, him getting cracked and looked like he was injured and have to come off the field. It was back to what I seen the first time he came into the game when he played against the Chargers, and he ran over a few people. He's a very physical quarterback, a little bit like Josh Allen, but Josh Allen had to make changes because if he had continued to, play the game the way Dart is playing right now, I don't think uh, Allen would have been, would have a long career just because it would be shortened because of the way how physical he was as a quarterback. And he's a big guy, just like Josh Allen. But he has to understand that if you're now going to be the face of a franchise, you can't be reckless. This ain't backyard. You're playing in the league with a bunch of professionals, and the men on the defensive side are just as big, or if not bigger, sometimes, depending on where you're running that football. So you got to be a little bit smarter. If it's a design run play, that's one thing, but that means you have blockers because it was designed that way. when you're running because you don't see somebody open and you trust your feet better than your arm, then he has to learn then how to avoid contact and not be looking to lay contact. When he got hurt and came off the field for the one play, we seen an exact difference when Russell Wilson came back came back on to the
I
field
am
and threw a dud into the ground.
a
Now, let me
club.
tell you, the Giants is most likely going to get some kind of fine or penalty because here's what happened. When Dart went into the blue tent, nobody is allowed in there due to medical privacy and other
Yeah,
reasons. The first two things happened after Russell Wilson came on the field and threw the dud. First, you had the
yeah,
running
I
back.
come. Yeah,
You had the running back who
but
actually went into the
yeah,
tent. Then you had the coach come over and stuck his head in the tent. So those are big no-nos. The league will most likely fine them due to this because even though they were concerned and they wanted him back out there after Russell Wilson threw a dud into the ground and the fans started to boo, you have to follow and the rules. And so we had a couple of things that happened. Even on Sunday, we didn't talk about it. Um, because we didn't have coverage at the time. But the Cardinals and the game against the Titans with Gannon, the head coach, coming over and striking the player not once but twice in the public setting on national TV didn't look good. Obviously, the NFL is addressing the issue. I don't know if the owner of the Cardinals is going to address the issue because, in all honesty, in the past, this was absolutely unacceptable. It's not the first time coaches have overstepped their bounds, and when players do it, they absolutely lose their job. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Doesn't matter how valuable they may be. You just can't have that behavior. It's unacceptable. And when it's a national TV game that's televised, which all the NFL games are, obviously there's people seeing that, not counting the fans in the stadium that witnessed and seen what happened. You're assaulting a grown man. And if that had happened publicly on the street, that's assault. Guess what happens? You get, the consequences behind assaulting somebody. So it was a very serious thing, even though he made a public apology. Absolutely unacceptable. Definitely unacceptable in today's NFL. Was definitely unacceptable in the past NFL. So it's going to be interesting to see how the ownership of the Cardinals address this. Will they begin looking for a new head coach, or how they want to play this out? So, what is your thoughts, Alex?
yeah, yeah, it too. I get a focus to see if it's a big part or what. Uh, but for me, I go today. I pick up for the couple if they were out in um before in the past league remove guys out after after not you play for football. So but now the other that get in yeah yeah it did came out or off on TV or over for me that he is a part of what happened to I think but no you at the in you at the you at the to see if the if the was goal or a bit fire or see what would be happening that goal.
Yeah, it's just crazy because when you look at other incidents, like even with Gruden, he had a 10-year contract with the Raiders, and just from verbally speech and an email, he was removed and lost his job. So here's a guy who strikes a young man due to a mistake. and we need to see what the league and what Arizona is going to do. So we're going to move on from there, folks. We're going to go over these picks, and then we're going to talk about possible Super Bowl runs from some of these teams. And I know it's still early in the season, but this is something that Sports Talk always do. We do a little early one, and then we do, mid-season, and then as we get closer to winding things down, where we definitely have some people who we know are going to the playoffs, we can make more of a sound decision on
I
who might be doing what. Okay, so we talked about the Giants, Eagles. They played Thursday night. Giants was over the Eagles. Both me and Alex had picked the Eagles over the Giants. So we started this week off, week 6, not in good favor of our picks. Okay, tomorrow's game, first thing in the morning, they have listed here. Again, this is overseas game. Jets and Broncos at 9:30 a.m. Folks. I don't know if anybody here in the United States is going to get up that early to see this game.
you want
Jets
football.
fans, I don't know. Tell me about it. If you're willing to get up early to see this, Bronco fans, please leave comments in the comment section. Are you big on these games being overseas? And if so, are you getting up and having, I guess, a makeshift
Well,
tailgate party at your home at 9:30 a.m.? I mean,
well,
I don't know. Tell me
well,
about it.
uh, well, and that's what yeah, and that's what you were talking. Remember, the bottle is definitely cut up. So it's so in the so the more football is. So yeah, I hope that I thought that I will get out to it if I am a Jeff fan or Barker fan. I will not be for it. Definitely, something more that big no for me. Look at look at before
Okay.
24.
And where's this game going to be, Alex? Tell us.
I believe it's gonna be
Okay.
London.
London, folks. London. Okay, so we're gonna move on from there. First 1 o'clock game on our list from the NFL is Cardinals versus Colts. Now, oh, we didn't pick. So did
No,
you pick?
without that,
I'm sorry, folks. Who you got? Jets or Broncos here? Jets don't have any wins, folks. Just so you know, Broncos has been playing really hard football. They look to be coming on pretty strong right now. So who do you have? Do the Jets continue a big fat zero, or do they break their curse and get out of this funk that they're in?
well, uh, for me, you can tell we can both win by the I definitely not gonna pick a Bronco. I think it's gonna be the new again to the game. I get the first overseas. Uh-oh.
Okay. To me, I'm gonna go with the Broncos. I'm gonna play it safe. If the Jets win, I'll take my hat off to you, Coach Glenn. Congratulations to your first victory. But if not, we gotta wait to see what you bring to the table next week. I know at some point you'll get it turned around, Coach, and you Jets players, please hang in there. It seems tough right now. You guys have been playing your heart out in each and every single game, and so at some point the water will break and you guys will get your victory. So let's now move on to the Cardinals and the Colts. And you got Daniel Jones going against the Cardinals here. Does he keep his hot hand, his hot streak going on and looking like a fantastic brand new quarterback to the NFL? Or do the Cardinals stunt him and cut them short?
I believe the game is gonna be short. I will call, but the next game, uh, time for but for me, give me a go because the code, I believe the code will get it when we five, and one or your ear.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with the Colts here. I think James Jones is gonna get it done against the Cardinals. Okay, so now we got Seattle and Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's been on a tear, folks. I don't know if anybody's a Jacksonville fan, but these guys have been playing there just balling, and so they're 4-1, but they're going against Seattle. Who do you got, Alex? Who do
Well,
you got?
I got it. I get it. If I got to prepare a perfect day. Why? It I don't do a difficult week of football, but give me a big chance to make a play and maybe have a have a part of the wrong coach gathering could be fun and for that number fun is that do it
Okay. So you're gonna go with Jacksonville? Is that
yeah
your pick?
yeah
Okay. I'm gonna go with Seattle on a limb here. I'm just gonna pick them. Let's see if Sam Donald and them can get a victory against the hot hand of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, next up is the Chargers versus the Dolphins. These two teams have had history between each other. I believe, if I'm not wrong, that these guys had the first before overtime existed in the NFL was the longest game at one point between these two teams, I believe, back in the day. So this is what I mean by history. So this is what drove the NFL to have an overtime game because back then they didn't have no such thing. There was no such thing as a tie. So you had to play until somebody won. And so I believe in the NFL, these two teams created history. So who you got?
I give me my me I believe my me will get it done in
Okay.
yeah
Okay. I'm gonna go with the Chargers here. I think Chargers bounce back. Um, they seem to be a pretty solid team, but they also know they got Denver breathing down their neck in their division, so they have to do something. And the Chiefs seem to be waking up at the same time, so they know they got to continue to keep balling because if they don't, before you know it, they'll fall behind and they'll have a hard time for that race for a division title as well as making it to the playoffs. So they got a pretty tough division. They got to get it done. Rams and Ravens are going at it. Um, should be a pretty good game. Ravens have been stunned in the month of September, and now in October, here we are. Oh my God, I did not predict that this team would be where they're at. But you know what? Last year they had a similar slow start and they came back strong and they went in the playoffs. So and they won their division. So I'm not going to count them out. Rams have been playing, solid football. Even though a week ago they got beat by the 49ers on a Thursday night game, and that was a weird finish. But at the end of the day, we now got Ravens up to play the Rams. So who you got?
this could be into if we want to play we want to play if it's still her I pick it a big round if we want to play I pick the bottom one to not die but for for me I got to give me bottom one I believe bottom one will get the win of a grand die something.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the Rams here until the Ravens bounce back and start showing us some Ravens football. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and pick the Rams here for this week. You got Cowboys versus Panthers. Um, who do you got?
Well, they gonna be difficult to call. They get it is difficult to call.
Last year they blew the Panthers out.
Yeah.
So are the Panthers gonna get revenge or will we see a repeat of what happened last year?
Yeah. I don't think you need to go make a cut point. I believe the cut point will get the win. Uh, uh, yeah, I know. It's a fact, but the vote was due here. So you need to go make a cut point to win over the Panthers. How about
Okay.
this?
I'm gonna go with the Panthers here to get this victory over the Cowboys. I think we get a surprise uh victory here by the Panthers. Because I'm pretty sure they had a nasty taste left in their mouth after that beat down by the Cowboys. Patriots Saints also at 1 o'clock. These two teams match up seem pretty well, and so Saints got their first victory last week against the New York Giants. And the Patriots
However,
also played well against the Titan,
no,
basically the
no,
Buffalo Bills,
yeah,
who seem to be a juggernaut in their division. And they gave them a run for their money on the Thursday night football game. And so, I mean, Sunday night football game. And so they got that victory. So both these teams should be on cloud nine, flying high. And now they got to square off against each other.
I get give me a bigger picture. I believe the picture. We get
Okay. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take the Patriots on his victory. Browns, Steelers, the division rival. Steelers had off last week. Browns ended up trading Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals, if people were not aware of this. So now you have Shakur Sanders as number two quarterback
number
and
two.
backup. And so we'll get to see what happens this weekend with the Browns making the changes that they made and with Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers playing against these guys. So who do you have?
Give me a what? I believe a what? We get that that goal. Uh, we're not gonna talk about Africa pig. I'm gonna talk about
Okay.
Africa pig all the pig.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Browns here. I think the Browns will get this victory over the Steelers. Um, okay. Now we're moving on to 4 o'clock games at 4:05. You got Titans versus the Raiders.
Yeah, it's a things to like, but give me talk about in part of the picture of the I love picture of the rich no give me and picture of
Okay. The Titans did look good on Sunday. They played really well. They had some nice, slick trick plays in that
and
game, and they came out with a victory.
the
But you know something? I'm gonna go with the Titans here over Tom Brady, Geno Smith, and Pete Carroll. Um, I think their offense is not doing well, and that falls on Mr. Kelly. And so, but they have him as their offensive coordinator, and so we have to see how that's going to turn around there for the organization and what they want to do. Right now, they're struggling this season. I definitely did see that coming. I thought Pete Carroll and them would have put something good together and made that division even more harder than what it is. Okay, next up at 425, you have the 49ers versus the Bucks. And I'm going to tell you the Bucks have always given the 49ers a run for their money, just like they've always given the Eagles trouble. They've always given the 49ers trouble. And so you have this great matchup between the 49ers and the Bucks. So who do you got?
the if if Bob put in place it's gonna be not young. Not you don't have right now over the fun cause the me for to Tampa Bay look it's so good over there in Tampa Bay for the don't come up if you go if I put yeah they could change go get them around but for me I think good people is gonna be conforming cut there.
I'm chuckling because you know what I'm going with this. I'm definitely picking the Buccaneers against the 49ers. I know at some point it's coming. And so I think the wheels come off in this game, and I think the Bucks will get this victory over the 49ers.
And
The last
the book me off that week.
yeah, they had time to prepare for this game. So, the last 4 o'clock game, which is at 4:25, is Bengals versus Packers. I don't know what happened to these Bengals. Even though, yes, we know Joe Burrow went down, but still, they started playing well, whether he was there or not, and now that's just not seemed to be the case. They brought in Joe Flacco, They traded for him. And I was just shocked that they even did such a thing. But but this is the way they went. So it tells me that they're desperate. I'm just gonna go with the Packers in this. And this has just been a heartbreak disappointment from the Bengals organization
I,
that they
I,
went this way. And I'm sorry, Joe, if you come across these our video, it's nothing personal against you. It's just that man, I just did not see that coming.
well,
So,
I laugh it. I laugh it because every year, every year, I was the hot, I was the hot to get Super Bowl for Graham because the Metro, I was that year. That team had a hot ticket year.
yeah, they
Uh,
just can't seem to keep people healthy over
yeah,
there. You know,
uh,
they play hard football, but man, I tell you, I would
but,
love to see them stay competitive in their division because when they're golden, I'm gonna tell you their division is action packed. Between them, the Ravens, them, the Steelers, and them and the Browns going at it toe to toe. Those are some exciting games in that division. And when you knowing that the Bengals are capable of playing and are at that level of giving great showmanship, it's disappointing that they're not able to do that
uh,
because their guy is just not there.
but for me,
They
I
have
guess,
to do a little bit better to protect him. They got to get themselves some offensive men that can honestly hold up and keep this man safe. So
but for me, I guess that you mean the Packers, I believe the Packers will get the British rough Packers after that they go on, pick up from they can pick up, um, the nuclear pick up, uh,
DeVito,
yeah,
there's many people that are
yeah,
available that they could have went with, and maybe some that would have possibly even fit their offensive scheme a little bit better.
yeah,
But this seemed like an emergency eject button that they pulled the
but,
switch, the fire alarm, and I think
yeah,
by their panicking to do this was a red flag. So I'm definitely stick with my pick with the Packers. If the Bengals, if you are able to prove us wrong, kudos to you. But you know what? I'll take the Packers in this case. And then we're going to move on to Sunday night football, which is between the Lions and the Chiefs, which a lot of people thought last year would actually be the Super Bowl. Is was these two teams. Now, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and them have not really done well against Campbell and the Lions when they've had regular season matchups. So if you're a fan and you're into the whole those app betting games and all that stuff,
yeah,
I'm just going to tell you the statistics between these two organizations. uh Lions is usually, I would say, probably a favorite just simply because they've beaten Patrick Mahomes and them multiple times. And so and that with that being said, I will take the Lions over the Chiefs in this game until Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid get it done. That's who I'm going to favor in this matchup. So
for me, it could be each of it to the, a perfect, a perfect, something else game to watch. Part time. So for me, give me it could be Detroit, I believe Detroit we get so right here, right now.
okay. So we got a special treat once again from the NFL. You have dual Monday night games, folks. Dual Monday night games. So you Bill fans and Falcon fans, you guys square off at 7:15. So make sure you got your popcorn ready and your ice cream and anything else, your hot dogs, whatever it is for that game because it starts at 7:15. Uh Bills Falcons. So who you got, son?
For me, I don't know what to do that. Okay, out there, yeah, the part that the bill on. So, for me, I guess to that, give me another, I'll be another, we get it up there.
Oh, well, I'm just gonna pull this stat out. Just like for the Eagles, you guys have not had back-to-back losses since 2023. The Bills, I would say the same. And so they have not had back to back losses of losing one game and then turn around losing another. I'm going with the Bills here. I believe they turn around and get it done. I think that loss against against the Patriots left a bad taste in the mouth, and that was a division rival, and it was a conference game. This is a non-conference game. They're going against the NFC, so they're an AFC team. I think the Bills take it all that frustration out on the Falcons. I think the Falcons will hold their own and they're going to play, but something just tells me that Josh is just like Patrick Mahomes. He plays with a big fire in his stomach, and when that dragon gets hot, bro, he starts blowing that breath. That's it. It's over. So I'm gonna go with the Bills here. I think they get the victory. And then to wrap this all up, what you have is the second Monday night game that comes on at 8:15, which is only an hour after the Bills game. So these games will actually be playing simultaneously, not like earlier this year where one started at 10 and the other one was at 7. So these games will be running simultaneously, and that is the Washington Commanders versus the Chicago Bears. Who do you got?
Well, for me, I could it it'll be winners. Yeah, hope with the
I seen the highlights of everyone playing that over and over. I'm pretty sure the Bears is playing that over and over and over in the locker room to remind them to make sure they finish the game against these guys. They did not forget what happened last year because I'm going to tell you right after Sunday and Monday night's football, this was the talk of this matchup because this is a matchup that took place last year. And as you knew, this was the dagger in their season. This was only the fourth in week 4 of the NFL.
a lot,
And
a
this
lot,
this this triggered eventually for the coach to lose his job as well.
a lot,
2 games later. So
a lot is put off. What?
from there, yeah, they took
Yeah,
off from there. Washington was also kind of unpredictable, but then after getting that Hail Mary victory in regulation of the game, it changed everything for Washington, set them on a path to the playoffs all the way to the NFC Championship, where they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm going to go with the Bears on this one.
I, I, I also go pick a bit.
Okay. And as we always do at the end of our picks, we talk about Thursday night football. So week 6 going into week 7. Okay. Thursday night football will be Steelers Bengals, which is what I was just talking about. Great matchup between the division rivals. But being that the Bengals are actually wounded, I don't think that Tiger can actually get the bite on the Steelers. I think Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers will beat up on the Bengals and probably make that wound a little worse.
Well, for me,
But
I guess that you need to bet them to win that game.
against the Aaron Rodgers and Steelers, you're always telling me, "Oh, I think Aaron Rodgers and them
Well,
possibly might go to the Super Bowl and everything else." You really
well,
believe that the Bengals are going to get a victory, an upset? I don't know, son. That's
okay,
that's
okay. And now we get the all the pick. Now we talk about our early Super Bowl pick. That that I guess it is.
okay. So first, I just want to point out that we go through the divisions and who might win their divisions first. And so, starting with the AFC East, okay, you have the Bills, the Patriots, the Dolphins, and the Jets in that division. Obviously, I believe that the Bills will obviously win their division. If you don't know, the Patriots have a 3-2 record standing right now, plus they had the one victory over the Bills. So they're in second place in their division behind the Bills. So although the Bills right now have an outstanding record in their conference and they're looking really good in their division, they got a team that is a half a game behind them, just a half a game behind them. Even with the victory, it's a half a game because the Bills is 4-1 and the Patriots are 3-2. But I'm still going with the Bills to win that division. How about you? Who do you think wins the division?
For me, I guess to that giving Bill up, we can be awkward with that different.
Okay, so now we're gonna go on to Still with the AFC side, folks. AFC North, okay, which houses the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cincinnati Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Cleveland Browns. And record wise, this is what you have. So the Steelers lead in the division at 3-1. And I know you're saying 3-1, that's only 4 games, but they had a bye last week. So they're a game behind everyone who played last week. So they're 3-1 in their division. They're leading the division. Number two, surprisingly, I know we were just making fun of the Bengals having a wound and not playing well. They're number two in their division at 2-3. Then the Ravens are 1-4, which is tied with the Browns at 1-4. I will go ahead and say, you know what? I believe the Steelers will somehow win their division because I don't see the Bengals able to keep managing this season. They're up, down, and that's mainly because they don't have their starting quarterback. And I don't know if Joe Flacco is going to be able to bring stability there. So I'm going to take the Steelers to win their division.
For me, a good big good day.
What?
Not good day. No, not tip the
Tampa,
tip. I like
the
what's up?
Steelers.
Yeah,
Okay, Steelers, folks, Steelers. I don't know where
yeah,
you got all that from. That's the NFC. Both those
yeah.
teams are in the NFC, and they're in two
Uh,
different divisions.
uh,
Okay, so now we're gonna go to the AFC South, folks. AFC South, and in the South, if you're not familiar with this, I'm pretty sure you NFL fans are probably like, "Shut up, just tell us who your
yeah.
pick is." But I'm just want for fans who don't know where these teams are lying. If you're not a diehard football fan, but you do have the Indianapolis Colts at 4-1 in their division, the Jaguars, who are also tied with them 4-1 in their division. You have the Texans at 2-3 in their division, and the Titans at 1-4 in the division. So you got two teams tied for first place. The Colts have a slight lead over the Jags in their division, so which means when those two teams square off, if they manage to keep on their pace of keeping up with each other, that's probably what's going to determine who's going to get the lead division. But who do you have? You got three teams fighting for that division right now. So
Jimmy Johnson after Johnson we get done.
I'm gonna stick with the Colts. I think the Colts will get it done. And if I had to have a surprise team in that division, I'm gonna say the Texans because remember the Texans won that division the last two times. So and went on to the playoffs. They had a rough start. They went 0-3. They won their last two, and so they're on a 2-game winning streak right now. So let's see. Jacksonville is on a 3-game winning streak. So we'll see what how that plays out. So you got Jacksonville. I got the Colts. Moving on from that division, and then the last division in the AFC side before we go ahead and tell you based off the way it looks right now for playoffs. You got the Chargers, you got the Broncos and the Chiefs and the Raiders in the division. The Chargers are 3-2 in the division, leading the division right now. The Broncos have a tied record with them, 3-2 in the division with a 2-game winning streak, whereas the Chargers had a 2-game losing streak. And you got the Chiefs 2-3, which is a game behind those two teams. Um, they lost one, and then you have which we know was to the Jacksonville, and you have the Raiders, which is 1-4 in the division right now. So who do you have winning the AFC West?
Well, for me, I could take me Peter.
And you know,
Peter.
sir, the Raiders. You think they turn it around at some
Yeah,
point?
yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's a big, big step. That would be huge. And if that happens, that would be impressive for them to turn it around. Right now, I'm gonna say, you know what? I believe the Broncos somehow, some way win the division. Now, with that being said, you have um 6 teams right now that will be playoff bound, and that would be Broncos, Chargers, Jags, Colts, um, Bengals, Steelers, and you would have uh Patriots, Bills, right? So that's 8 teams, I'm sorry, playoff bound if the players were to start today. And out of those teams right now, I believe the strongest team that is playing well in their conference would be the Bills. So I think the Bills will move on and end up winning and go into the AFC. championship game. And I think their opponent on the AFC side will probably be the Indianapolis Colts, surprisingly. I know people think I'm crazy. People are saying, "What about the Chiefs?" For those Chiefs fans out there, the Chiefs have some huge hurdles because they lost a few of those games in their conference already. So yes, I know once you get to the playoffs, it's a whole start. But right now, they're behind eight other teams that are slightly ahead of them as far as being able, if the playoffs started today, which means they would not make the playoffs, not even as a wild card. So that's what you would have. So that to me would either be the Broncos as a surprise, Chargers as a surprise, Jags, Colts versus the Bills. But I say Colts, Bills, AFC Championship. I think Bills move on from that. That would take them to the Super Bowl. And so, what's your thoughts, son? Who do you have?
For me, I got to upset that game. Give me the home in the championship game. I picked it up.
Okay.
I, I looked up to the Super Bowl back home in California.
Okay. All right. So now we're gonna go to the NFC side. On the NFC side, NFC East first, you have the Eagles at 4-2, the Commanders at 3-2, second place in their division, Cowboys at 2-2, and the Giants 2-4. And the Cowboys have a tie on their record. They haven't had a bye yet, but they tied with the Packers. If you wasn't aware of that, not you, Alex, but our viewers. Um, so, and then for me, I think who wins the division, which they say has never happened in this division, where one team has won back to back division titles in this division. I believe the Eagles get it done and win this division. It's going to come down to the wire, but I believe they will win their division.
Uh, but for me, it always comes back to what in we talked about it that year. Uh, we're not going to be going through what happened that year. What we talked about is we will talk about the different, but I also going to be the equal. Can we
Okay.
talk to
So now moving on to the NFC North, you have the Lions leading their division confidently at 4-1 after getting blown out their first game of the season. They turned it around. They've won four straight. They look amazing. They look Super Bowl bound. And you have the Packers at 2-1-1. So they played four games because they also had a bye last week. So, and I told you that they tied with the Cowboys. And you have the Vikings at 3-2, third place in their division, and then the Bears at 2-2 in their division. I'm going to say that the Lions win this division once again. They look really strong, and the coach is keeping people on their toes because it seemed like he's pulling everything out of his bags and tricks to deceive teams week after week with crazy plays that no one expect for them to be putting on the field, but he's making them happen. So who do you got?
for me, it can be Detroit. I believe Detroit will win that Super Bowl.
Okay. Um, Moving on from there, NFC South, you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 4-1, leading their division. This was one of the weakest divisions last year. The Bucks came down to the very end against the Falcons for that division last year, and it looks like that's heading on that same path. Not unless the Panthers have something to say about that. But in number two, you have the Falcons at 2-2. Then you have the Panthers at 2-3. And then at the very bottom of the division, the Saints is 1-4. So who do you have in that division? I'm taking the Bucks to win this division the second year in a row.
Yeah, you mean the Buccaneers.
Okay. All right. And then the last division, okay, you have the San Francisco 49ers at 4-1. To me, a surprise team to be leading their division because I didn't see them there. I kind of picked them towards the bottom of their division. I know people were probably saying, "Well, on mine, my mother probably turned it over in her grave." But I'm just saying, I'm surprised they're 4-1. Seattle at 3-2. And then you have the Rams also at 3-2. and then the Cardinals at 2-3. No doubt in my mind that this division was going to be a little bit tougher between these four teams. They seem to play every year really hard. But the way it looks right now, I'm going to have to pick the 49ers to possibly win the division. I'm not comfortable with that pick. I think the Rams will probably get it done, but the 49ers seem to keep deceiving me and somehow getting victories. So
Well, for me, I got the part that we talk about it. I agree. So if you know what happened with why the hang up to from we look back at what we
our earlier videos.
yeah, you know why we talked about it over the guy we know why. But for me, I'm gonna put that give me the booking up as to that do it.
Okay. All right. So now, with that being said, here's what you will have if the playoffs started today. The playoffs started today, you would have Seahawks, 49ers. They would be in. Falcons, Bucks would be in. You would have uh probably Vikings and Lions would be in most likely. And I said possible for the Vikings is just because the Packers had that tie, and a tie actually messes up your entire record. And also, depending on what happens around the league, it kind of changed the standards for you. So that I think would hurt the Packers whether they had a loss. If they had lost to the Cowboys, then it's a different game. But because there's a tie, it kind of distorts the NFL how you're going to be placed. Not unless you're just balling all out from
Yeah.
here on out, then it doesn't matter. But at this case, they're 2-1-1. So I say Vikings, Lions go into the playoffs. And then on the NFC East side, you would have Commanders, Eagles also moving on. So those would be the 8 teams going into the playoffs. And to me, I think right now, strongest team playing well in the NFC would be the Lions. So my matchup would probably be Bills and Lions in the Super Bowl. I think Lions would end up playing the Eagles in the NFC Championship, but the Eagles is kind of I don't know. They right now they're having this bland mood swing, and I'm not really sure where to put them. Confidently, I believe they have a better team than most of the teams in the NFC and in the AFC when they want to play sound football. But after watching them against the Giants this Thursday night, I'm just not quite feeling what to think of them because they seem sound mind in the mind like in that game, and they seemed very rested versus they didn't come with the same intensity. And they went up to the Meadowlands to play at MetLife, which isn't that far from Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium. So it wasn't like they had a long flight or something. That was just a bus ride up the turnpike for them. I don't know what was going on in all their heads. The players didn't seem to quite be in the game somehow. So, with that being said, and being that the Lions like to mix it up, I say Lions move on. They go to the Super Bowl and play the Bills and go from there. What do you have?
Yeah, for me, taking the choice in the NFC
What?
Championship game,
Boo, boo. You want to get your own Eagles? How is that possible?
and
Eagle fans gonna hunt you down. That's it.
and it gonna be difficult to tell if the give me the foot thing further Detroit is at the championship game. Who is going to vote to be Detroit?
Okay.
So
So
Detroit at Pittsburgh.
Detroit and Pittsburgh. Steel City versus the Lions. Okay. All right. So there you have it, folks, with our picks as far as that. Alex, you said you want to talk about Aaron Rodgers after our picks. So what is
Hey,
it that you have to say
we
about the
did.
Steelers?
We
And
did.
okay, I just want to make sure. All
Uh,
right.
uh,
Um,
one more thing before we start. What is your game at the week? Within a week. the what is your game of the week for you?
Game of the week this week. Oh man. So look, there is game of the week. Action pack. Who is gonna ball this weekend? You know what? I'm gonna say game of the week is gonna be the 49ers and the Buccaneers. I think both those teams are gonna ball out. And I know I picked the Bucks to win that, take that victory over the 49ers because I have not seen enough from the 49ers to say that they are. I was still shocked that they're 4-1 in their division. I'm really, really surprised. Thought Seattle would be the leader in that division, but right now the 49ers are leading. So, but I think that'll be the game of the week for me. I think those two teams will ball out because it seems like the Bucks seem to be the guy up against the ropes in the fourth quarter, and they come out swinging and getting late game knockouts against their opponents. So I think maybe the 49ers come out and they start landing some shots early, and then in the fourth quarter, the Bucks show up to play, and then we have all hell break loose. So,
Uh,
how about you? Is it Chiefs Lions? Is it Bengals Packers? Is it Cardinals Colts? Who you got? Game of the week: Ravens Rams. Which one?
well, for me, I got the game of Detroit. I can't it. That yeah, I can't wait to watch tomorrow night. I can't wait to watch.
Okay. So there you have it, folks. Those are our picks. Please tune in next week for Sports Talk. And it's exciting time of year. We're in week 6. Can you believe it? Week 6
So,
already in the
so,
NFL,
so,
folks. And
so, to
so
be fair,
um if you want to run away from the world's problems, the NFL is a way of doing it. Or as you see, baseball has been very entertaining. The World Series is right around the corner, and these guys are balling every night now until somebody makes it to the World Series. And so you got basketball getting ready to starting up as well, and hockey. So the sports world is heating up, folks. So there we have
well,
it.
okay. Thank you for watching. See you next week for week five. Okay.
Yeah, week 7. It's kind of weird we saying that in 2025 already. Week 7. All right, good night, folks. You guys
Okay,
have a
good
good day.
night.
All right.